And I'm going to start a watch party on my web on my okay, and I'm sharing it in a group. Oh, I can't do that. No, I can't do a start and watch party. Oh, I'm on a computer. Okay, never mind. All right, here we go. Sorry, folks. This is Cameron Steele. I'm, of course, the one of the owners of Contact Talk Radio, along with my wife, Davindia, who's not here today. It's the kids are out and of school, and so she's gone off with our littlest one to enjoy the day and relax and have some fun. So today I am doing a little promo video with one of our newest hosts, Deepal Shah, and her website is anandaforlife.com. That's anandaforlife.com, and you can find out more information by visiting her website. Now, Deepal is from a pharmaceutical, biochemistry, and business background. She's transformed her life from what would be a stressful career and has brought her on a path to an awakened spiritual journey, not like any other. We've heard this before, the story of awakening and finding ourselves on a new spiritual journey. I mean, everybody I've talked to who is into their spiritual journey always comes from a place that's either stressful or some kind of traumatic experience has happened in their lives that take them on a journey. So I'm going to introduce you to Deepal Shah. Deepal, welcome to our live streaming on our Facebook fan page today. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, Cameron. It's so good to be here.
Yeah, of course. And so now tell me, Deeple, I gave you a little introduction there, but what happened on this career of yours? Because pharmaceutical biochemistry and a business background, that to me reflects a very successful career, if you will. So did something happen that just made you go, I don't think I want to do this anymore?
Um, yeah, a lot of things happened. So you're right. I did have all these degrees that backed me up. I could go anywhere I want. I was in pharmaceuticals. I did the trainer. I was a trainer. I was so many things within my own company. I had grown so much. And I was getting ready to be a manager, and I didn't take the job. Something
Right.
inside me didn't was like no. And then 2 years later, I decided, you know what? And even before that, I kept getting this intuitive hit. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. When you get that gut feeling, like, I'm not happy.
Yeah.
Right. So I just decided one day, my husband's like, you know what? You need to, if you're going to leave, then you need to leave now, because there's so many people that do want a job and need a job, and you're just taking up space. So I said, fine.
You're taking up space. Move on. Get out of here.
I said, fine, I'm going to give it up. So
Oh
July 3rd,
gosh.
I signed the
Yeah.
resignation and I left the pharmaceutical industry. I've never seen myself not working. So it was one of the most hardest things for me.
Oh my gosh. Well, I have to say, I have a very similar story to yours. When we first started, my wife and I, when I moved down here, she was working at a real estate company, and we were just getting the program Contact Talk Radio off the ground, and we're trying to make it work, and all of a sudden, she had to quit her job. And I went into this whole, oh my God, you're quitting your job. We're not ready for this yet. But, we were, of course. But yeah, I can identify with that. And it's really quite an awakening experience when you feel like you're forced into a situation.
Yeah. But see, the thing that really woke me up was the fact that, okay, I was dealing with a lot of my own health issues.
Okay.
And I was kind of tired of it because I was, not only selling pharmaceutical
Right.
drugs, I was also taking tons myself to try to get to the bottom of my own issues.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was an emotional wreck. Okay. And so this really gave me time to hone in on why am I the person that I am and what can I do to change? Now, and what can I, because it was affecting my health.
Yeah.
You those emotional issues affect our health, and we don't know that until we dive into the deeper layers of where they're coming from.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
And like you mentioned, a lot of childhood traumas.
Yeah.
And who hasn't been through some form of childhood trauma or post traumatic stress disorder or depression or whatever we want to call it? But everybody between the age of in womb, and I'm going all the way back into in womb, all the way up till age of 14. Okay. So
Wow.
if you and I look at our lives and we start writing our own story, just to imagine how many emotions are built up just from that and how we compartmentalize those. Okay. So that's where I got into energy healing.
Okay.
Knew there was something else, not just medicine, not just pills that can help me.
Uh,
So that's how I got to where I am today and helping others find their happiness and joy in life through a better well being, better health. And so I mean, I've helped thousands of people around the world
mm,
just get their health back in order, find root issues, root causes of their problems. That's what everybody's looking for, right? What is the
yeah.
root cause of my problem? Why do I have heart issues?
Right.
So, talking to the body, I love doing that and connecting with the body and helping people understand what their symptoms are telling them.
Right. I mean, that's the big thing is that understanding our body and uh and understanding where we need to fix things. You hear stories like that all the time, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Yeah.
Body has a lot to say. We just don't take the time to listen because we're so busy,
Yeah.
right? I
Yeah.
gotta do this. I gotta do this. I gotta take care of the kids. I gotta go to work. I gotta spend 8 hours doing yoga, whatever it is. But
Yeah.
how many times do you sit there and say, gosh, I've got this pain in my wrist?
Yeah.
What is it? Why is it there?
Yeah.
Let me take 10 minutes to really just talk to it and understand it
You
and
know, yeah.
find it.
Well, you mentioned something there that I think is appropriate because when we have a physical ailment, how many times, how many people really ask that question? Most people just attribute it to, oh, well, I've been writing all day long. And yeah, absolutely. If you've been writing all day long and your wrist hurts, then yes, absolutely, that might be the reason. But is that really the cause?
Exactly.
You
So there
know?
are, of course, there's the physical problem, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Which we
Hmm.
can always find something else that this is
Yeah.
the reason.
Yeah.
Um, but is there also an underlying issue there?
Right, right, and that's the key right there is trying to find out what the underlying issue is, and I think for most, including myself, sometimes you get that little hit that yeah, I think that's what the reason is, but then we question ourselves. So the question I want to ask you right now is, how do we stop questioning ourselves? Like listening to our intuition about ourselves is probably one of the hardest things because we have so many attachments to what the outcome could be for ourselves, and we want the best for ourselves, and we want to no, it's not that, it's got to be this because this is easier than than that.
Right. So here's the thing: you are the manufacturer of your own body.
Hmm.
You've made this yourself.
Right.
What else do you want to make of it? You could either purify it,
Hmm.
enlighten it,
Hmm.
heal it,
Yeah.
or you could give it to somebody else to do that job for you.
Yeah.
Now, you can either, the biggest thing, like you said, people have doubts. They have doubts about themselves because all in your entire life, how many times have you been doubted?
Mm.
Right? How
Yeah.
many times have you been said, "Oh no, you're wrong," right? Especially as a child. Again,
Right.
childhood stuff comes up. The
Right.
reason adults have doubts is because that's how they've been raised.
Yeah.
That's the experiences they've been through.
Yeah.
And so they've lost trust. And so we lose trust in our own self and our own body. And I want to help bring that back. It
Right.
is crucial and so important as we move forward, right? I mean, look at all the technology that's coming by, coming up, all the EMFs. Now we're going to 5G. I mean,
Well, yeah.
our entire environment affects us.
We are covered with energies around us that we just don't even recognize are affecting us. And I work in the studio all day long, and I've got 8 computers in the background here. I've got a big soundboard. I've got just electronics everywhere, and I can tell you, at the end of the day, I'm feeling kind of like, there are some things that affect me, absolutely, but I've come to realize that I will stay in the studio for maybe an hour, 2 hours, and then I'll get out and I'll go take the dog for a walk, or do something just to get out of this electronic energy. And you mentioned the 5G thing, and this is another thing that we are inundated with. We have cell phones right next to our ears. Where, in fact, there was a study that just came out that a lot of people who are on their cell phones like this are now developing in the back of their neck, in their spine, a pointed kind of bone, because we're sitting here like this
Yep.
on our phones, and we're not sitting up straight. We're doing this. No, not only do we get a hump in our back from before, I've seen a lot of millennials too. They have this hump on their shoulder up, and they're walking like this, and they got a big bump on their back, and it's from sitting like this, and they're on their phones. Now we've got to think about what we're doing. So I think it's really important that we pay attention to our own bodies, and what we're doing, and how we're presenting ourselves out into the world, and being able to sit up straight, or so, and in fact, talking about just something simple as sitting up straight or walking straight. Yeah, I was accustomed to myself walking. I'd be walking normally, my shoulders would be down. Now when I stand straight up and I'm walking, I feel like I'm trying to stand on a mountain, like, look at me. It's
Well,
really,
what's
it's
happening?
but it doesn't, but to the person that's looking, it doesn't look that way. It doesn't look like anything, like I'm sticking my chest out or anything. It just looks like I'm walking straight up.
Right.
But
And
how we feel about it inside ourselves is what we have to come to terms with. No, I'm not trying to stick my chest out and go like this. I'm just trying to keep my spine in order and walk straight and keep my head up.
exactly. And you know what happens is you're bringing more awareness, whereas people are losing awareness and consciousness. You're bringing that back into you. And that's
Yeah.
what we all need to do.
Right.
Is
And
bring all that back because we've forgotten with
yeah.
all the technology. And that's why I brought technology up.
Well,
Not
exactly.
only
No.
is it going to cause more physical issues in the body,
Yeah.
but it's also, lack of awareness. I mean, how many times, are you listening to music and cooking, or, multitasking,
Yeah.
right? Or talking on the phone, listening to music and cooking. I mean, that's a lot of stuff going on. I love to say, and that's the other thing. People love to say they're multitaskers. They think it's a gift, but it
Yeah.
really isn't.
I was one of those people that became a multitasker, and now I don't mind multitasking, but I know where my boundary is on how many tasks I'm going to multiply at the same time. I find that uh, it can be a little overwhelming at times
Yeah.
to multitask. And it's about a belief, I think. I used to I well, I probably still do. I have this belief about the 11th hour. you
Mhm.
know oh, the pressure's on, I can get it done. Oh, I always accomplish what I need to accomplish in the 11th hour.
Right.
And all that stress you're building up
Yeah.
for the 11th hour, and all the patterns that you display, like, you could be the middle of, maybe it's the end of the month, and you got to make your rent. Well, okay, no problem. I got 2 weeks left. Oh, I got a week left. Oh shit, I've got 4 days to come up with whatever I need to pay for rent, and it's the 11th hour, and all of a sudden you're go 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 go, and then you're like, oh,
Yeah.
you know that. I don't know how healthy that is, but I don't like doing that. I used to do that. I used to be the 11th hour kind of guy, and it'd be wait until the last day for the 11th hour, and I'd be like, "All right, made it," and be so proud of myself that I made the 11th hour. Meanwhile, I'm looking back on it and go, "Why did I ever do that?"
Right.
just,
So we do it to ourselves,
yeah,
right? You
yeah,
notice you're doing it to yourself, but the problem is that people don't want to change or don't have time to change,
right, right.
right?
And that's the thing. We put so much pressure on ourselves to change or to do things or to make things happen. Or, I mean, there's a million reasons why we do things, and everybody has their own. I mean, I can't speak for anybody other than for myself, and I can only imagine if it's myself, then how many other people. I was listening to a show yesterday, and uh, one of the things that the host brought up, and you know, we everybody does this, but nobody talks about it. So we live, my wife and I, with our kids, we live in a certain way in the house. You know, maybe it's not the cleanest house in the world, and maybe it's kind of, you know, there's a piece of paper on the floor that everybody keeps walking by, and it's like, well, pick the piece of paper up or whatever, you know. But we get so busy, and so then when we find out we're going to have a guest over, oh my God, we are just cleaning from the roof, from the ceiling right down to the floor. We're vacuuming all the nooks and all the nooks and and all the tables, and vacuuming and wiping down things. And when people come over, they say, "Oh, wow, you really look at how clean this place is." Oh yeah, thanks. Meanwhile, we're just like, "Oh God, I got this done in time." And then we go through this pattern of going, "Well, let's try and keep it this way." Yeah, good luck.
Exactly. Trust me, I go through that too. It's
Well,
okay.
you know, well, exactly. Everybody does it, but we judge ourselves so harshly on everything we do, and that's where that was my point. Is that you know, I think that, you know, when I was looking at your website, one of the things that uh, you talk about is being stuck in your healing abilities, and are you ready to heal yourself and others? And this is one of the things that we need to. I feel like I feel like most people want to heal, is that sense of putting on a display to make them look other than who they are.
Right.
And that in itself has got to be a bit of a healing journey. You know, I'm of the mind now that, well, you know, I'll tidy up. I don't mind tidying up. Davindia, she's more like, okay, we got to, I want to get this. And she really is, you know, want to make sure everything's nice and spick and span and clean. And I'm just like, well, let's just move this here. We dust a little bit and I'm good, you know, um, because I kind of feel like, you know, what you see is what you get. I
Exactly.
mean, you know, I mean, you know, so the downstairs, where the studio is, we have a room over here. I can't show you, but we have a little couch, and it's kind of like a TV family room type of thing. We hardly ever use it, so it gets dumped full of laundry. So the couch is just packed with laundry. And I think it's probably like once or twice a week I'll go in, I'll start, you know, just sorting things out, take it up to the kids' room, and then it's clean for like 3 days, and and then it starts the whole pattern over again. And I'm like, why do I keep doing this to myself? Why do we keep repeating these old patterns of,
Mhm.
you know we don't like what we see, but
Mhm.
yet we don't change it. Is
Right.
it because it's easier just to leave it like that, or is it, well, you know, some people would say, well, you know, for me, I'd say, well, it's just more work. I just don't want to do it right now. I just want to relax. I'm working hard enough. I don't want to work anymore.
Right.
But you know, and something else somebody said to, I heard something the other day, is that Europeans, they have a perception of Westerners, and it is, I think it was something like this. It was, we work. Oh, the Europeans work to live, but we live to work.
Right. And I was just about to say something about that because in India
Hmm.
and in Europe, they really enjoy
Right.
their lifestyle. We as Americans seem to be the most miserable people. I mean, I know people in India, okay? And my mom and dad grew up there. I didn't grow up there. I was born there. But they have, and when I went back about 2 years ago, they have people who cook for them. They have people who clean for them. They have people who take care of their kids because they're all in an extended
Right.
family. The kids go outside and play. They're not on their phones. You know, it's just a different lifestyle. They start
Right.
at 10 o'clock or so, and then, end at 7, 8 o'clock, whatever that is. But it's just a different lifestyle. Like they're so happy. You don't find that many miserable people and stressed. You
Right.
mentioned stress. stress causes so much inflammation in the body.
Hmm.
Okay. And you won't find as many diseases as you find in the US,
Hmm.
you will not find in other countries.
Right.
Okay? Because we are a very stressed out country. It is a disease and a dis-ease to the body.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And it's
Well,
growing and growing and growing. And at some point, we need to start realizing what can we do. And yeah, people are doing yoga, they're doing Pilates, they're doing things to help become, especially
right.
meditation. But is it really helping? And then I find people that shy away from meditation just going, I can't do it, I can't do it, I can't do it.
Yeah.
And it's all about energy. Everything is energy, and what we tell ourselves, like
Right.
the judgment, right?
Yeah.
That brings in more judgment. You know,
Right.
everything is energy.
Yeah.
So we have to be more mindful. And some people just think it's a word, mindful and awareness and consciousness,
Yeah.
they're not just words. There's a way of doing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
I'm looking at your website, and you do a lot. And by the way, for those of you, I mentioned that you're starting your show with us, and of course you're one of our latest newest hosts, and I'm really grateful that you're on board with us. Love your information, by the way, and um, I think you've got a really great energy, and I think that a lot of things you're going to do and say are going to be very impactful. In fact, I've watched some of your videos on your Facebook, and it really shows people really love what you're talking about from the comments that I've been seeing.
thank
Um, so your show is going to be broadcast at 9 a.m. on Mondays, and people can go to our website, ctrnetwork.com, and click the listen live button. But you're also going to be able to go to her website and listen to the live show as well, anandaforlife.com. That's anandaforlife.com. I'm just going to paste this. I'm going to copy and paste into the comments on our Facebook, on our thing, and let people know that that's where they can go. Um, One of the things that I was looking at over your website, and you discuss a lot of different things. I've seen some of your workshops, from manifesting money to you've got a couple coming up, awakening the master within. You've got energetic stem and cell therapy, reconnect to the flow of life through the chakras. I love the chakras. TMJ lockjaw. Well, that's an interesting one. I'm looking forward to hearing about that one. Connecting with past loved ones. I love those kind. So, but the big one you've got coming up July 10th, is awakening the master within. Would you talk to us about that?
Yeah, so here's what you're reading is part of the membership program. Okay.
Okay.
And with the membership program, you get 2 free health clinic calls. Now, these health clinic calls vary from health issues to spiritual growth.
Hmm.
Okay, so what you're reading is that awakening the master within. So each of us is a we forgot that we are that master, and
Yeah.
that is within us, right? When I was growing up, my mom would always say, God is within you, God is in your heart, but yet she'd always take me to the temple,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so I didn't understand that connection. And so I'm like, okay, if God is within me and I am as powerful, as I can be in my divinity and faith and which of course I have a spiritual faith. I don't, my background is Hinduism, but
Sure.
um, I believe in every single God, every single culture,
Hmm.
and I don't gear towards one or another. And so, if I can help people bring that master within them and help create their lives,
Hmm.
manifesting money, manifesting greater health,
Hmm.
manifesting greater relationships by finding that master within them, then imagine how powerful that would be.
Oh, I mean, honestly, it's one of those things. And by the way, I have this in the studio.
Yay!
I don't know. Is this upside down?
Nope.
Oh, that's the way it hangs.
It
I
is.
actually have it. I usually have it right over here, but the nail fell out of the wall, so I have to put it back up. And anyways, well, what is this? So people know, what am I holding up?
It's Om, the
There you go.
universal profound.
I knew that, but I wanted you to tell
I,
him. Well, I'm working in a studio, so you got to have the ohm sound,
right.
Well, it's interesting because the whole thing about finding the master within is that's right. We are, we teach our kids. You have choices. You're the master of your destiny, and we are the master of what we want to do. But getting to that point is releasing some of the old patterns and releasing some of the processes that we might have around the belief about ourselves, and that's the biggest thing is what do you know? I like to ask people, what do you believe about yourself? you know and when you ask a person that question, there's a pause because a lot of people don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I was asked that question, what do I believe about myself? Well, believe I'm a good guy. Well, okay, that's a good start. That's a good start. uh you know and when we ask ourselves that question, it's the same question of somebody saying to me one day, if you were stuck in the elevator with the richest man in the world and you had 30 seconds to pitch, what would you say? So imagine being stuck in the elevator with yourself and giving yourself 30 seconds to pitch who you are.
Yeah.
Wow, that's intense
That is,
because we've got to come up with something that we believe about ourselves, that we can sell ourselves to ourselves.
yeah.
You
And
know,
not too many people believe in themselves or anything good about themselves.
right. Well, exactly. And so, because we sit in judgment so much, I mean, if we yell at a car where we're driving down the street, or, somebody cuts us off and we have a bit of road rage within ourselves, we judge ourselves immediately for that road rage. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. Well, you did. So that's okay. I mean, I can't tell you, I've done it a few times. I'm like, oh, that bastard. I just, why did he do that? But I'm at a place now where my wife is awesome at the road rage thing because she sits there and smiles at them.
That's like everybody's biggest test. I've had people flick me off,
Yeah,
kids,
yeah,
all kinds of things
oh
happen.
yeah,
Okay. I mean,
yeah,
I've had instances where I've been mad because, everybody has those days.
yeah, yeah.
But I've really learned
Sorry.
to become, again, more conscious and aware and
Yeah,
build my karma.
yeah,
Okay. When we get into karma, is
yeah,
what my thinking process is, and do I want to think this way?
yeah, yeah. Because thinking, I mean, I've often thought about that. I wonder if our thinking on how we think things, because our thoughts also are so strong and powerful. But I was always brought up with the belief, well, God's not going to condemn you for your thoughts, only your actions. And I think for me, that's kind of important because we have so many thoughts going through ourselves on a daily basis. And, we can't control all of our thoughts. But what we take action on with our thoughts, I think is where the karmic evolution takes place.
Yeah.
Because we can't condemn ourselves ever for the amount of thoughts we have. I mean, if I was condemned for every thought I had about hitting a bicyclist because he's taking up the whole road, I'd be dead. And I love bicyclists, but sometimes you get in the way, or for just anything for that matter. I'm just
That's why
using that
every
as an example.
in my neighborhood, bicyclists.
There you go. You see, yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. So we can't condemn ourselves for our thoughts. And I invite people not to judge yourself for your thoughts, but it's what you do with the actions that make a difference. If you have I have had where I've seen a homeless person outside the store. In fact, this happened the other day. I went to Wingstop to buy some wings, and this gal that I've seen on the corner all the time. Well, this time I was walking into Wingstop, and she walked up to me and she said, "Would you buy me some wings, please?" And I'm like, "Yeah, okay, sure, why not?" You asked me this time. I never give to the homeless on the corners, like, because I'm too busy driving. So this time I said, "Okay, I'll do that." Well, I get it. I get crunchy sometimes because not only did we walk to the counter to buy the wings, I had in my mind, and this is where expectations come up, and maybe we can talk about that in a moment. But the expectation in my mind was, okay, well, I'll just get her like a half a dozen wings and get her a small meal. I'm not, that's where I was. But she had a couple of kids with her, and I'm like, oh, okay, God, all right. So I'll get 10 wings, you know, but then afterwards I felt like, because she said, oh, I said, which kind of wings do you want? Do you want plain? Do you want them? She said, just plain wings. I said, okay. And then she said, oh, can we get vegetables and fries with that and 3 Cokes? And I'm like, I'm of the belief there's nothing wrong with asking. If you don't ask, you don't know. And
Exactly.
the answer is always going to be no. So I was like, I was already feeling generous, wanting to just buy her 10 wings, but then I started feeling taken advantage of, because I'm buying French fries and now I'm buying vegetables and now I'm buying 4 drinks for the whole family. And I mean, I might as well just take them out to dinner, really. I mean, but afterwards I felt kind of a little bit of regret, because my expectation was I was just going to buy a half a dozen wings. And all of a sudden I'm spending $30 on buying a whole meal for the whole family. And I felt afterwards like I felt good, but I certainly felt taken advantage of my generosity. And I have to look at my thoughts around that and go, well, uh, if I hadn't been, I allowed myself to, first of all, to be taken advantage of. I mean, I didn't go into a whole process around this. It was just my stream of thinking was going. I allowed myself to be taken advantage of. So she didn't. And she went along with what my belief is: if you don't ask, you don't know, and the answer is always going to be no. And I can't condemn somebody for asking. So I thought to myself, okay, well, that's fine. I bought him a meal. And, where my thought goes, though, is I see them on the corner the next day in the same place asking for money. And then I get into this thought of, well, just, go find some work. I mean, just go find some work. There's lots of work out there, even if you have to sleep on the streets for 2 weeks while you're waiting for your first paycheck, is better than standing on the corner and doing nothing. But that's not my journey, and I can't project on their journey.
Exactly. And that's the
So
thing. Everybody has a different journey. And for some of us, it's really hard to contemplate it.
yeah,
And especially because we are such intellectual beings
right,
that we have to contemplate everything and have expectations about everything and judge
yeah,
everything.
yeah,
So if we just shut that mind, and I'm not saying shut it off because we can't shut the mind off. It's like shutting one of our organs off, right?
right,
That wouldn't be
right,
good.
right,
So it's kind of, taking our mind into more of a positive route, like, okay, it's okay. It's, this experience is happening to me because it's supposed to, and maybe I am supposed to give right now, and
right.
that's okay, whatever it is. We get so attached. There's so many other levels involved there, and then when it comes to money, it's a very sensitive topic for a
Yeah,
lot of people, right? So
it
giving,
is.
you know?
It is. And, because we're, again, and, the whole money thing is about what we believe about money. And, you
Exactly.
know, I mean, oh, I've got to save this, and realizing that, it's nothing wrong with saving, but at the same time, if you're hoarding money, you're not allowing more money to come in.
Exactly.
And hoarding money is not a good thing. I've been down that road, and I'm like too afraid to spend my money because I'm not sure if more is going to come in.
I
And
mean, there's
we
a
can't
belief,
live like that.
yeah, beliefs have a lot to do also with the diseases in the body.
Right. And yes, that's something you teach as well in your courses.
Yep. So I teach meditation. I teach a healing modality
Hmm.
called quantum body awakening, which is one
Okay.
of my own modalities that I came up with. And
Fantastic.
I do meditate, like not meditation, but energetic healing MP3s. So
Okay.
these MP3s are just amazing because, where you can't always have a one-on-one session with
Right.
me, you can at least get an MP3, like let's say the cardiovascular MP3, that's going to help with all the functions, all the diseases of the heart.
Right.
So listen to that and you set your intention that I want to heal my heart,
Yeah.
whatever, high blood pressure, let's say,
Right. Right.
and that energy goes towards that.
Oh,
So
fantastic.
there are many, many MP3s. I think there's like 75 of them on my website. You can,
And where would they go to find this on their website? Is that under membership? Is that under their mentorship?
so you,
MP3 store?
yeah, so you go to the MP3 store and it should be right there.
Oh, fantastic. Look at all these ones. There's fantastic ones in here. Oh, fantastic. Yeah.
There's anxiety and panic. I mean, There's even spiritual growth ones where you can connect to your guides if you're looking for spiritual growth,
Right.
bridging the conscious and subconscious, because for most of us, the subconscious is going one direction and the conscious is going another. And
Yeah.
how to bridge
Yeah.
the so
Well,
there's a
let me say this. First of all, your website is it's all about personal empowerment, and you can find everything you need to know and get more information by going to anandaforlife.com. She's got Quantum Body Awakening. You can learn more about Deepal here. You got membership, you got mentorship, you got a health clinic. You can schedule a session. An MP3 storage there. You can get packages. There's also some free replay recordings just to get a feel of what you're in for with Deepal. She's got tremendous amounts of information on your website, and it's well done. And you've also got a blog that people can go to. Your Facebook page, of course, is deepalshah.5811, and people can find out more about you on that website. Fantastic. Good job on your website. It looks really nice.
Thank you. I am revamping it. Make it nicer.
Well, that's fantastic. Well, listen, Deepal, thank you very much for being on the show today and just allowing us to indulge ourselves with you uh, you've got tremendous gifts that you're sharing with the world, and I think that whether it's one, whether it's two, whether it's 100, or whether it's 1,000 people, you're going to make a difference to people's lives that tune into you and listen to you. You can catch all of her podcasts on her website, anandaforlife.com, and you can tune in to her live by going to her website, anandaforlife.com. She's broadcasting starting 9 a.m. Monday mornings, and you can listen to the replay 9 p.m. If you can't listen live in the daytime, tune in at 9 p.m. and you can listen to the replay of that particular show coming up on Mondays at 9 a.m. Thank you very much, Deepal. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.